ॐ अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रये। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो ब्रह्मण्यदेवाय गोब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्धिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। नमः सर्वेभ्यो सर्वेषां कृते स्वागतम्. In today's class, we will listen to a very engrossing narrative. Sri Vedavyas Ji is writing in the Bhagavatam about how the king Parikshit, as we all know, Parikshit was the first recipient from Shukadeva. Shukamuni, when he narrated the Bhagavatam, Parikshit was the primary recipient of that Bhagavatam, right? So how did Parikshit appear in this world? His birth. So this is a very, very engrossing narrative, and it reflects the nature of the bond between Bhagavan and his bhakta. So the narrative is spread over two chapters. Partly it's in Adhyaya 8 of the Prathama skandha of Bhagavatam, the 8th chapter of the first skandha of Bhagavatam, and then 4 chapters later in the 12th chapter, it continues in more detail. So we will touch upon both of that. So the scene begins with Sri Suta Maharishi in the Naimisharanya forest. Naimisharanya today is a place close to Lucknow, somewhere in that region of UP, Lucknow, Ayodhya, Naimisharanya. It's a very holy place where a lot of saintly people, sages, they perform yagas and so on. So in that place, Suta Maharishi is talking and explaining the tattva of the Bhagavatam to all the rishis gathered there. And the head of them is a rishi by name Shaunaka Rishi. So Shaunaka Rishi and Suta Maharishi are having a conversation, and so many other rishis gathered around them. They're all listening to this, right? Suta uvacha atate samparetanam swanam udakamichhatam datum sakrishna gangayam puraskritya yayustriyaha. So he begins with the scene where after the Kurukshetra war, you see, in the Kurukshetra war, nearly everyone got killed, except a few people. Everyone who took part in the war, 18 Akshauhinis of people and the elephants and horses and everything put together, participated in the war, of which the 5 Pandavas survived and a few others survived the war. So these people who survived and the others who never participated in the war, like Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, and the others who were in the palace, the ladies. So they performed the final rites for those who have passed away, offering them water. So the scene begins with them going to the Ganga. Okay, Samparetanam, those who have departed, Swana Mudakam Ichatam. So it is said that those who have departed, they are desiring water. They want water to quench their thirst or whatever. So to give them water, Sa Krishna, along with Krishna, they went to the bank of the Ganga. Puraskritya yayustriyaha. As per the custom, when you go for a ceremony like this, all the women are to be in the front. Women are in the front and the men follow them. So here the women were in the front and the men followed them. Te niniyodakam sarve vilapya cha bhrisham punaha apluta haripadabja rajaf puta sarijjale. So what did they do after they went there? They offered the water to the departed relatives, and remembering all the memories that they had with them. See, after all, it was a joint family. Even though they were fighting with each other, they are not like two different kingdoms coming and fighting with each other. It's one family. Within that family, people have fought with each other, right? They've created there's some division that came for whatever reasons, and they fought. So now they all know each other. They are all relatives of each other. So Vilapyacham Prisham Punaha. So they have been lamenting all these days, and the lamentation continued. So after they offered water, the memories kept coming back and they lamented. And then they took a dip again. Aplutaha Haripadabja Rajafputa Sarijjale. Instead of saying they took a bath in Ganga, which is what they did, Ganga is described as Haripadabja because she comes from the lotus-like feet of Vishnu, of Hari. So Haripadabja means Padabja, the feet of Vishnu are just like lotus flowers. So from them she comes and she is purified because of that, because she comes from that place. She's not just coming from some place. She's coming from the lotus-like feet of Sri Hari, so she is very pure. Uta Sarit Jale, in that water, they again took a dip and they became purified. Then what happened? Tatrasinam kurupatim Dhritarashtraṁ sahanujam Gandharim putra shokartam Pritham krishnam cha madhavaha Santvayamasa munibihi Atabandhun shucharpitan Bhuteshu kalasya gatim Darshayanna pratikriyam. So Krishna is present among them. He is not lamenting, he is witnessing the whole thing. Okay, he is Sri Bhagavan himself. So he consoles them. He consoles them. Whom does he console? Tatrasinam Kurupatim, who is sitting there. Kurupati. Who is Kurupati? Now, now it is Yudhishthira. After the Yuddha, before the Yuddha, it was Dhritarashtra. Now the word refers to Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira is Kurupatim. Sahanujam, along with all his brothers. Dhritarashtram. Dhritarashtra also has come. So him also. Gandharim, Putra Shokartam. Gandhari is lamenting for all her sons. Gandhari has lost the maximum number of sons there, right? So 100 sons. So she is lamenting very intensely. So she is being consoled by Krishna. Pritha. Pritha is Kunti. Mother Kunti also has lost one son, Karna, right? So she is also being consoled. And Krishnam. Krishna refers to Draupadi. Another name for Draupadi is Krishna. Krishna is Bhagavan. Krishna is Draupadi. So Krishnam, so three women, all three women, Krishnam, she also has lost a son, or five sons actually. Her five sons were just killed by Ashwatthama, right, after the war. So all of them, all the three women have lost their respective sons, and Madhavaha, Krishna is consoling them. Santvayamasa Munibiha, along with all the munis. There were several rishis also who were present there and consoled them. And what did he say? He said, look, the force of time, bhuteshu kalasya gatim darshayan. Time is something that nobody can control. In course of time, death is inevitable for everybody. So it is very true. I understand your pain. I know how much painful it is to lose your own sons, your cousins, your relatives, your uncles, all of whom were very dear to you. But please understand that time is something nobody can stop. And when time moves forward, these things will happen to each of us. And na pratikriyam, and this is something that's irreversible. It cannot be reversed. You cannot just say sorry or something and then make it come back. When somebody has gone, they have gone forever. They will not come back. At least they will not come back in a form that you can recognize. You will not know if they've taken birth somewhere else, right? So it's irreversible. Now about Krishna, what all has he achieved? Okay, Krishna is always present among them. Now he is consoling them, but he has done many other things for them before. Sadhayitva jata shatroho swam rajyam kita vairhritam ghatayitva sato rajyah kachasparshakshataayushaha याजयित्वाश्वमेधैस्तं त्रिभिर उत्तमकल्पकैः तद्यशः पावनं दिक्षु शतमन्योरिवातनोत्. So these are the few things that Sri Bhagavan accomplished in the Gita. He says, Yada ida hi dharmasya glanir bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam shajamiham. Whenever dharma declines, I personally appear Atma Maya Srijamyaha. I appear, I manifest myself with the help of my Maya. And Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Cha Dushkritam, to protect my bhaktas. Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Cha Dushkritam, to eliminate all the wicked people. Dharma Samstapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge, to establish Dharma again. So here, this is an illustration of that. Sadhayitva ajata shatroho swam rajyam kitavairhitam. Ajata shatruhu refers to Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira is called Ajata Shatru, means a person whose enemy is not born. What does it mean? Logically, you think, okay, Yudhishthira had so many enemies, so many people did not like him, they were trying to kill him. But from Yudhishthira's perspective, nobody was his enemy. He never thought of anyone as his enemy. His heart was so pure. He saw everybody with compassion, with affection. He treated everyone with affection. So even after the war, we see in the Bhagavatam itself, in some other place, it's narrated how immediately, every day, he's made the king. And of course, Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, the parents of, and Dhritarashtra was the person who played a key role in, all the suffering that Yudhishthira and, the Pandavas had and Kunti had. But Yudhishthira never thought of him as a traitor, or as somebody who betrayed him, or as somebody whom he should now take revenge upon. He never thought like that. So he would go every morning to see his, he treated him as his own father, to see his cousin father and offer his respect to him, worship him, and then he would begin his duties, take his blessings and do his duties. That was his nature. So, Ajata Shatruhu, Swam Rajyam Kitavairhitam. So, what Bhagavan has done, he has restored the Rajya which is rightfully belonging to Yudhishthira and his brothers. So, it was restored by Sri Bhagavan to them. Kitavaihirtam, which has been taken away, which had been taken away forcefully by the wicked people. Ghatayitva asato rajyaha. After killing, after making sure, not that Sri Bhagavan himself killed them, but he got them killed. Ghatayitva means he got them killed by his forces. He arranged by his energies, got them killed. Ghatayitva asato rajyaha. All these wicked kings. And who are those wicked kings? Kachasparsha shatayushaha. Kachaha refers to hair. These kings had touched somebody's hair, and because of that, their lifespan had diminished significantly. We all know whose hair they touched. Draupadi, the most saintly woman among their kids. She had nothing in her by which she should have been treated in that manner. But she was treated like that. She was caught by her hair and she was dragged and brought there unwillingly, pleading for help. And she was insulted very badly. So such a action, immediately, what did it do? It did not actually have any problem with Draupadi. Draupadi came out of that, right? Shri Bhagavan gave her help and she came out of that. But each of these fellows, Shata Ayushaha means their lifespan was significantly diminished by that action. So such kings were removed in this war. Yaja Yitvashvamedhaistam. Then Sri Bhagavan arranged, he facilitated 3 Ashwamedha Yajnas by Yudhishthira. 3 Ashwamedha. One Ashwamedha Yajna is itself considered a huge phenomenon. It's not a small thing. It's huge. It's not easy for a king to do that because it requires enormous amount of resources. It requires wealth. It requires so many brahmanas to come. It requires arrangement of materials, right? Just like we saw this Ram temple. If you read about it, you can see how much has been arranged, how much has gone into it. Now they are labeling it as 500 years of struggle. It's a culmination of 500 years of struggle, right? So, but even in the last 1 year, so much has gone into arranging for this one day's event, right? So Ashwamedha Yaga also is a huge event. And 3 Ashwamedha Yagas were facilitated by Sri Bhagavan through Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira was made to perform them and he performed, because of which what happened? Tad yashaha pavanam dikshuhu. He became very popular. He became famous. Okay? Shatamanyo rivatanot. Shatamanyu refers to Indra. Indra, the king of the Swargalok. So how does somebody become an Indra? Somebody becomes an Indra. A king becomes Indra in his next birth by performing 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas. That is the process, right? So then that Indra becomes very popular. He's Indra, right? Everybody respects him. He's such a popular personality. So similarly, By performing 3 Ashwamedha yajnas itself, Yudhishthira's fame was spread everywhere. And that's what Bhagavan wanted. He's so dear to Bhagavan. So Bhagavan wanted that his fame be spread everywhere. Amantre Pandu Putranscha Shaine Yodhava Sanyutaha Dvaipayanadhibhir Vipraihi Pujitaif Pratipujitaha. Now, after doing this, Sri Bhagavan now called all these. Now they are here in the bank of the Ganga. They have just offered water to the departed relatives. And so Sri Bhagavan's job is over. Everything is done. He has eliminated the people he wants to eliminate. He has established Yudhishthira on the throne. So now he wants to go back to Dwaraka. So he calls the Pandavas, and along with him are Satyaki. Shaineya. Shaineya refers to Satyaki. Satyaki is important Yadava and the Yadava Kula. In the Narayani Sena, Sri Bhagavan's Sena is called the Narayani Sena, and it's considered a very powerful army, very powerful Sena. In that Sena, one of the key people, commanders in that army is Satyaki, and that same Satyaki also serves in the normal times as the charioteer of Bhagavan. So during the Kurukshetra Yuddha, Bhagavan himself was the charioteer of Arjuna. So he did not have a chariot of his own. So Satyaki then became one of the commanders of the Pandavas side. He took over the role as commander of the Pandava side. And in doing that, his attachment to Bhagavan is also reflected. He will never leave Bhagavan and go away. Bhagavan's army, even though he is a commander of one of the commanders of the Narayani Sena of Bhagavan, now in the Kurukshetra Yuddha, the Narayani Sena of Bhagavan is not on the side of the Pandavas. Why? Because we know from an earlier incident that Duryodhana and Arjuna go there, and Shri Bhagavan says that one of you will get my full army, the other person will get only me. And that person who gets me, on that side I will not fight. The army will fight wherever it goes. So Duryodhana takes the army and Shri Bhagavan remains with Arjuna. So now Satyaki is on the side of Bhagavan with the Pandavas, and so he faces his own army in the war. But now he's still there. After the war, he's still alive, and he is present at this point of time. Dvaipayanadibhir vipraihi pujitaihi pratipujitaha. So at that point of time, when all these ceremonies are over, Shri Bhagavan calls the Pandavas, and in the presence of Satyaki, Uddhava, and Dvaipayana refers to Vedavyasji. Vedavyasji is also there. And all the other Brahmanas, so many Brahmanas and Rishis are there, they all worship him. They all worship Shri Bhagavan, and in return, he worships them. He offers his worship back to them. So, pratipujitaha. Gantum kritamatir brahman dwarakam rathamastitaha. So he had decided that now my job is over. Everything that I have come here for has been done. So let me now go back to Dwaraka, which is where I am ruling from, and continue to perform my duties as a Kshatriya. Upalebhe bidhavantim uttaram vihwalam. So at that time, he had just got on the chariot and he's about to start going. Suddenly he saw Uttara coming, running towards him. And she was vihwala. Could make out that she was completely disturbed by fear. Vihwala means fear had engrossed her. She was disturbed by fear. You could make out she was coming, running towards him. She was not just walking and coming, but running and coming to him. Abhidhavantim. Okay, so who is Uttara? Uttara is the wife of Abhimanyu, daughter-in-law of Arjuna. But even earlier to that, she is the daughter of a king Virat. The king Virat was met by the Pandavas, and they stayed with him for 1 year in the Rajñatavas. So they were asked to go to the Vanavas for 13 years, of which the last 13th year was meant to be in Ajñata. Nobody should know where you are. The first 12 years, people will know. Everybody is with you. But in the last 1 year, nobody should know. And if that is discovered, then you have to again do one more 12 years, something like that. So these conditions were put. So for 1 year incognito, they stayed with Virat. And during that time, they performed all the duties just like servants in the palace of Virat. Virat also did not recognize them as the 5 Pandavas and their mother. A mother was not with them, sorry. So the 5 Pandavas, they were not recognized. And eventually, after the period of Ajnatavas was over and it was known that they are the Pandavas, Virat Maharaji offers his daughter. He's so pleased, he's so happy. He's humbled actually to see that these great personalities, they were serving me. I am actually so small in front of them. So in that moment of humility and happiness, he offers his daughter to Arjuna, says that I want to offer my daughter to you, please marry her. Arjuna says, no, no, I will not marry her, but I will give her, I will accept her as my daughter-in-law for my son, uh, um, Abhimanyu, right? So that is how, and Abhimanyu is the son of Arjuna through Subhadra. His mother is Subhadra, who's a sister of Krishna. So now this Uttara, she is carrying, the child of her husband Abhimanyu and herself in her womb. Okay, so that child is now 10 months old, on the verge of being born. It's on the verge of being born. So she's coming in that condition. She's got a fully grown embryo, and with that, she's now running towards Sri Bhagavan. What happened? Uttaro vacha, Uttara said. What did she say? Pahi pahi mahayogin, pahi pahi mahayogin, deva deva jagatpate, nanyam tvad abhayam pashye, yatra mrityu parasparam. Protect me, Mahayogi, oh greatest of all yogis, Deva Deva, God of all the gods, Jagatpate, oh Lord of this universe. Please protect me, protect me. Nanyam Twadabhayam Pashye. I don't see anybody other than you who can give me fearlessness, who can remove this fear from me. Because in this world, yatra mrityuhu parasparam, in this I'm living in this world where everybody is killing everybody else. Death comes by one person killing the other person. Yatra mrityu parasparam. Mutually, people are killing each other. Abhidravati mamisha sharastapta yaso vibho kamam dahatu mam natha mame garbho nipatyatam. I can see flowing towards me arrow which is made of hot iron. Taptayasaha. Ayasaha means iron. Tapta means molten iron. It's sharaha means it's burning molten iron, like red hot iron. The arrow is made of that and it's hurling towards me. It's flowing. Abhidravati means it's zooming towards me, right? Flying towards me. Vibhu is the name of Krishna. Vibho means great one, huge one. Kamam dahatu mam nata. May it kill me. I am okay with that. But please, ma me garbo nipatyatam. May it not kill my embryo. May my embryo survive. That's how every mother thinks, right? A mother will think, a mother who has, by nature, by natural arrangement, a mother has that bond with its child, that a mother is willing to give up her life if it can save the life of her child. And that's exactly the emotion that Uttara is reflecting. Suta Uvacha. Now the conversation between Suta Maharishi and Shaunaka Rishi. So Suta Maharishi now says, Upadharyavachastasyaha Bhagavan Bhaktavatsalaha Apandavamidam Kartum Apandavam Idam Kartum Draunerastram Abudhyata. As soon as Sri Bhagavan heard her, Upadharya, he comprehended what she was saying. And he is Bhakta Vatsala, means he is one who is very affectionate towards his bhaktas. Immediately he understood that this is the act of the son of Drona. Draunaha. Draunaha means the son of Drona. Dronasya apatyam puman Drauna or Drauni. So Draunehe astram iti abudhyata. He understood that this is a weapon sent by Ashwathama, and this has been sent in order to remove the world of all the Pandavas and their descendants. Apandavam, to make the world apandava, right? Means removing the world of anything connected to Pandu and his descendants. This is the reason why Ashwatthama has sent this. So this is earlier narrated in the same Bhagavatam in the Prathama Skandha, in a few chapters earlier, where Ashwatthama comes and he kills the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi, and then he escapes from there. He's now fearing that he will get caught, so he's running away. And Arjuna and Sri Bhagavan are chasing him on the chariot to catch him. And he sees them coming. So out of self-defense, not knowing what to do, out of panic, without thinking, he releases the Brahmastra. Brahmastra, see, any astra and shastra, they're different in sense. Shastras are physical weapons. Astra is something that is not a physical weapon. It's released by chanting of mantras. It requires a high level of qualification to do that. Not everybody can do that, but these people are trained in that. Astra Vidya, by which, by chanting mantra, appropriate mantras in the proper manner, you invoke that power from you and release that astra. And that becomes a physical weapon and it attacks that target, whichever target you have in mind. So in the mind, you have a target. For example, now Ashwatthama's target is the five Pandavas, their sons, whom he has already killed anyway, and Parikshit, who is in the womb of Uttara. The embryo of Uttara is a target because who can continue the dynasty of Pandu? The five sons of the Pandavas have been killed, and the five Pandavas are still alive. And the embryo of Uttara is also alive. It can be born, even if the five Pandavas are killed by the Brahmastra, that embryo can come and continue the dynasty. So in his mind, these are the targets. So now the Brahmastra is coming. Okay, earlier what happens is when Arjuna sees the Brahmastra coming when Krishna's presence, so he immediately, he turns to Bhagavan and Bhagavan says, okay, you release your Brahmastra and you counter it. You know how to do it. You've been trained in that. So he doesn't have any problem. He releases a Brahmastra to counter that attacking him. But even though he counters the effect and saves himself, and he captures Ashwatthama and he punishes him and lets him go, the Brahmastra still continues and goes towards the other Pandavas and the embryo. So it's now coming. Okay, now it's in that situation. It's coming there. Tarhe vattha munishreshta Pandavav pancha sayakan Atmano bhimukan deeptan alakshastran yupadaduhu. So the Pandavas also who were there, the five Pandavas, they saw that it's coming now towards them. And so instinctively they lifted their weapons and they started bracing themselves to counteract that thing. And so that's what this shloka is saying. Vyasanam vikshya tattesham ananya vishayatmanam sudarshanena swastrena swanam raksham vyadhad vibuhu. So what did Sri Bhagavan do? He immediately, recognizing that the five Pandavas are now in danger because of this coming. And who are the five Pandavas? They are not just ordinary human beings, but they are Ananya Vishayatmanam. They are his Ananya Bhaktas. The Pandavas are called Ananya Bhaktas of Bhagavan because they don't have anything in their life other than him. He is their most dominant force in their life. All the time they are thinking about him, thinking of how to live their life according to his pleasure, what is pleasing to him, what makes him satisfied. And that is why they are so pleasing to everybody else. They're able to do all their duties perfectly. They followed dharma very strictly because they know that Sri Bhagavan likes that. Okay. So anybody who is an Ananya Bhakta naturally becomes very pleasing to the other people because he's very duty conscious. He does the right things, doesn't hurt anybody, protects other people, etc., etc. Right? All right. So what does he do now? Sri Bhagavan instantly, when he sees this and he sees that his bhaktas are in danger, he releases his Sudarshan Chakra. And with the Sudarshan Chakra, he nullifies the effect of the Brahmastra on the five Pandavas. Then what does he do? Antastaha sarva bhutanam atma yogeshwaro harihi swamayaya vrinod garbham vairatyah kuru tantave. So Shri Bhagavan also resides as the Paramatma in everybody's heart, Antastaha, Sarvabhutanam, Atma. So he is Sarvabhutanam Atma means the Paramatma who is inside every Atma. Each Jivatma has the Paramatma inside it. And Swamayaya Avranod Garbham, with using his Maya, Yoga Maya, he protected the Garbha of Uttara. Uttara here is referred to as Vairati. Vairati because Virat's daughter. Viratasya apatyam, not Puman. Viratasya apatyam stri. So that is Vairati. Kuru Tantave. Kuru Tantave means the thread of Kuru. Tantuhu means thread. Kuru tantave, to protect the thread of the Kurus, to protect the Kuru dynasty. Now the Kuru dynasty is led by Yudhishthira. So to protect that, he entered the womb and he covered the womb of Vairati or Uttara. Yadyapyastram brahma shiraha tvamogham cha pratikriyam vaishnavam teja asadya samashamyat prabhudvaha. Even though the Brahmastra, which is referred to here as Brahma Shiraha, is Amogha. Amogha means what? Amogha means that which is very effective. Okay, in management we use the word effective, right? Becoming effective. So here that word is used. Amogha. The Brahmastra is the most effective weapon. Can achieve anything. Can destroy. It's most powerful. Even though the Brahmastra is Amogha, it's most effective, and cha apratikriyam, that which cannot be countered, that which cannot be stopped. Once it is released, it will achieve its target. Even though it is like that, Vaishnavam Teja Asadya. This time it encountered the Vaishnava Teja. Vaishnava means here something that belongs to Vishnu. So Vishnu released his Teja there, his power there. Vishnu is Krishna here. And so by encountering that, samashamyate means it became nullified. It was completely nullified. Bhrigudvaha. Bhrigudvaha is referring to Shaunaka Rishi. Suta Maharishi is addressing Shaunaka Rishi as Bhrigudvaha, as somebody who's a prominent personality in the lineage of Bhrigu. Mamam sthahyetadascharya sarvascharyamayechyute ya idam mayaya devya srijatyavati hantyajaha. So Suta Maharishi tells Shaunaka Rishi, but don't be surprised by all this. Mamamstha hetadascharya. Don't think this is something very great, very surprising, because this is done by Sarvascharya Achyute. Achyuta himself is such a wonderful personality. You should admire him. You should be in awe of that personality. That personality is doing this. There's nothing surprising about it, because everything that we see is coming about. Srijati, three verbs are used. Srijati, avati, hanti. Everything that we see is created by him, Srijati, maintained by him, avati, maintained, and hanti, destroyed by him. Ajaha means he is unborn. He is only manifesting himself. He has no birth. Such a person, he creates, maintains, and destroys everything by his Maya. Mayaya Devya. By his Maya Devi, he does everything. So don't be surprised. There's nothing surprising in the way in which he protected the womb of Uttara from destruction by the Brahmastra. So this is the Ashtama Adhyaya of the Pratama Skandha of Bhagavatam. And now Shaunaka Rishi asks the question, but how did he do it? It is so amazing that, the womb, the Brahmastra is going inside and the womb just survives. And we also hear that actually it was killed. The womb actually got killed, but he revived it, brought it back to life. So what did he do? What did he exactly do? Can you describe to me in some more detail? And that detail is in the 12th chapter, 4 chapters later, where Sutta Maharishi continues. And he says, Matur garbhagato viraha satada bhrigunandana dadarsha purusham kanchit tahyamanostra tejasa. So this baby is described as, he's not yet named as Parikshit. He's yet to get that name Parikshit, but we are referring to him as Parikshit now. So he saw in the womb of his mother, he saw a person, Tadarsha Purusham. He saw some person, and Dahyamano Astra Tejasa. He was himself, that baby himself was burning. His body was burning. Right? Even the embryo has a body, right? The Jivatma has a body there. And that body has fully developed. In the case of this particular instance, it's in the 10th month. It's about to be delivered. Just before that, it has happened. So it's a fully grown baby body about to come out. And that stage, his body has got burnt. And even as it's getting burnt, he sees this amazing person inside. Suddenly, he sees a person inside that womb who was not present all this time. He's suddenly seeing that. Angushta matram amalam Spurat purata maulinam apivya darshanam shyamam tadidvasa samachyutam. So what did that person look like? Angushta matram. He was just the size of a thumb. Amalam. He was looking very pure. Spurat purata maulinam. He had a crown on his head which was shining. Spurat means puran means shining. Apivya darshanam. He was looking very beautiful. Apivya darshanam. His appearance was very beautiful. Shyamam. It was the color of a rain cloud. Shyama. The rain cloud, the bluish black rain cloud. That color he had. And Tadid Vasasam Achyutam. He saw Achyuta. This person is called Achyuta, whom he saw. Tadid Vasasam. His garments were like lightning, like streaks of lightning. Okay, so his garment was fluttering like streaks of lightning. That's what it looked like to this baby. Srimad Dheerghachatur Bahum Taptakanchana Kundalam Shatajaksham Gadapanim Atmanas Sarvato Disham Paribhramantamulkabham Pramayantam Gadam Muhu. So what else did he look like? Srimad Dirga Chaturbahum. So he had lovely arms, four arms. He had four Chaturbahu. He has four arms and they were so lovely. Srimad Dirga means they were long. They were lovely. They were long. Four arms like that. And Tapta Kanchana Kundalam. He was having earrings which were like molten gold. Tapta Kanchana. Gold, when it is molted, has a particular complexion. And it so beautiful like that. The earrings were looking like they were made of molten gold. Shatajaksham. Shatajaha means blood. His eyes were blood red with anger. This personality was extremely angry. Gadapanim atmanaha sarvatodisham. He was having gadapani means he was having a gada. Gada is the mace. And so he was holding a mace in his hand. Atmanaha sarvato disham paribhramantam. So he was himself moving around. He was not stationary. He was not standing there in one point in space, but he was continuously moving around and moving around. Brahmayantam gadam muhuhu. And even as he was moving around, he was going around that womb. And he was also rotating that gada around his head, around his body. He was rotating that. He was whirling it. He was whirling it continuously. So why was he doing it like that? Astra tejasva gadaya niharamiva gopatihi vidhamantam sannikarshe paryakshataka ityasau. All this is the baby is witnessing all this. So with that gada, this personality was removing all the fire, all the burning, the flames, the tejaha, the fire that was caused by that astra, that brahmastra, which was burning his body. This personality with the gada was removing that, was just eliminating, diffusing, dissipating it, removing it. Just like Niharamiva Gopati. Gopati means the sun. When the sun comes up, the mist or the fog dissipates and it becomes clear. Just like the sun dissipates the mist and the fog, this personality was dissipating that fire with his gada. And this baby, this little Jivatma there, could see that right in his presence, right next to him, Sannikarshe, in his proximity. He could see that and he wondered, Kaha iti? Who is this person? Where is this creature? First of all, he must have thought, why is my body burning like this? Then he's thinking, suddenly this body is burning, and then the next moment, one person comes in and he's whirling his gada. Is so beautiful. I've never seen this. And this is now removing that fire. Kaha ityasao. Vidhu yatad ame yatma bhagavan dharma gubvibuhu mishato dashamasasya tatraivantarthade harihi. So even as this little 10-month-old baby was watching this, Mishataha Dashamasasya, in front of that 10-month-old who was watching all this, Sri Bhagavan, after having cleansed the womb of that Brahmastra's effects, Ameyatma. Ameyatma means one who is actually, earlier he was described as Angushta Matram, the size of the thumb, as big as a thumb. But now he is Ameyatma, means he is actually immeasurable. You cannot measure him. You can't say he's one thumb high, right? He's actually Ameyatma. There's no size for him. Ameya. Ameya means one which cannot, something that cannot be measured. It's infinite. Bhagavan Dharmagup. Dharmagup means Dharmasya Palaka, one who protects Dharma. Dharmam Gopayati. That's how this word Dharmagup comes in Sanskrit. Dharmam Gopayati iti Dharmagup. Dharmagup Vibhuhu. So one who protects Dharma now has shown a demonstration of how he protects Dharma. Vibhuhu means one who is enormous, one who is huge. So even as this little 10-month-old was watching all this, Tatraiva Antartate Harihi. He finished this job and he just vanished. He didn't wait for the embryo to thank him or something like that. He just vanished. His job is over. Then what happened? Tatas sarvagunoddarke sanukula grahodaye jagye vamshadarav pandoho bhuyaf pandurivaujasa. So then, shortly after that, when all the qualities were at their peak, all the good qualities were at their peak, and when Sanukula Grahodaya, when all the planetary, the celestial bodies were in the proper positions, were in the right positions, Jagye was born. Who was born? Vamshadaraha Pandoho, one who will be bearing the Vamsha, the dynasty of Pandu. And he was Panduriva Ojasa. So Pandu, the father of the Pandavas, though not the biological father, but considered as the father of the Pandavas, he is he was always known as a very charismatic personality. Ojasa. Ojas means charisma. So the same charisma was present in this person. Parikshit was born here. So Parikshit was born with that charisma of Pandu, and he was given the responsibility, came for the purpose of continuing the dynasty of Pandu. Tasya Pritamana Raja Viprairdhaumya Kripadhibihi Jatakam Karayamasa Vachayitva cha Mangalam. So Raja Yudhishthira is very pleased with this. So what did he do? With Pritamanaha, means with so much affection, with so much happiness in his mind, he immediately made the Jataka, Jatakam Karayamasa. He made the horoscope, Kundali, we say in Hindi. North India, we say Kundali, right? So Jataka in the south. So Jataka was immediately made by Yudhishthira with the help of all the Brahmanas. Vachayitvacha Mangalam, after saying the right words. So Mangalam is like we say in the beginning, Mangalacharanam. After saying that, he requested the Vipras to perform the Jataka, to do the Jataka. Hiranyam Gam Mahim Graman Astyashwan Ripatirvaran Pradat Swannam Cha Viprebhyaha Prajatirthe Satirthavit. So, more detail about how he did this. So, when he was doing this, he gave them gold, he gave them cows, he gave them land, he gave them villages, he gave them elephants, he gave them horses. These are all dan, the different ways of doing dan to qualified people. And Varan means all, not just ordinary cow or something, but the best among the cows, the best land, the best villages, the best elephant, like that. Varan, Pradat, he gave them. So the best things that we have, when we give for something in Dan, nowadays, what do we do? After we use the shirt for 3 years, now it can't be worn anymore, it's out of shape. So we just dump it to somebody. We think of it like, oh, giving it, joy of giving week, right? Give something that's left over. No, when we give Dan, we should give the best thing to that person. Keep the inferior thing with ourselves. That is the mentality of Dan. Dan is given to help that person or to make that person happy, to please that person. At least when we give food, we do that, right? We give sweets, we buy some packet of sweet, we buy fresh and we give it to somebody. Right? Most of the time, we don't give leftover food to anyone, right? We may just throw it to some animal or something on the road, but we don't give it to a fellow human being, at least. So that's the same mentality with which we should donate clothes also, or anything we give. That's the mentality given here. The best among those things he gave to these Brahmanas. And very interestingly, it says Prajatirthe. Prajatirtham or Prajatirtha is a time period that is considered very auspicious. It's the time period between the baby coming out of the womb and the umbilical cord, which is called Nala in Sanskrit. Nalaha is the umbilical cord connecting the baby's body with the mother's body, right? Through which the baby gets its nutrition and so on. That is cut after the baby comes out of the womb. So that period of time between the baby coming out of the womb and the umbilical cord being cut, a small duration, a few minutes elapse in that period. And that point of time is considered, that period of time and that point when it is cut, is considered very auspicious. So the dhan given at that point of time is said to be very, very pure, or it yields in terms of punya, for those who seek punya from it, it yields enormous amount of punya. So it is given, it's meant to be given at that point of time. So he gave this dhan at that point of time. Sa tirthavit. Tirthavit means one who knows how dhan is meant to be given. Shastravit, one who knows the shastra very well. स एष लोके विख्यातः परीक्षिदिति यत् प्रभुः पूर्वं दृष्टम् अनुध्यायन् परीक्षेत नरेष्विवः. So I have skipped several shlokas from the last one till this one. In those shlokas, it's described in detail how the Brahmanas, after they received these gifts and after they prepared the horoscope and everything, they gave predictions about what this personality will become. They talk about the good qualities that he will have. He will be like Indra, he will be like Rama, Lord Rama, in so many qualities. So they compare him with different great personalities and they say how he will have each of those qualities that these people have. And so I have skipped those shlokas because they are in great detail for want of time. But now this shloka tells us why this baby came to be known as Parikshit, why he was known as Parikshit. His actual name, the first name that he gets after he is born, is Vishnu Rataha. Rataha means one who has been given by, dattaha, given by, given. Vishnu Rataha, Vishnuna Rataha, he was given by Vishnu. Means that he was actually, he has died in the womb. He had a death in the womb, but he was brought back to life by Vishnu himself. So therefore, he is given to us by Vishnu. So the people who named him first named him as Vishnu Ratha. That's his original name. But then he later came to be known as Parikshit. Why? Because everywhere he went, he could never forget in his whole life the memory of that person he saw in the womb, that wonderful person he saw in the womb who protected him. So everywhere he went, when he saw somebody, he examined him and he tried to see whether is it this person whom I saw. He was always asking the question, who is that person who protected me? Who is that person? Where is he? Can I see him? I want to see him again. Right? So everywhere he went, he did pariksha of everybody. Pariksheta means he examined everybody to see whether that person is this person. That's why he got the name Parikshit. He was known as Parikshit. That's what is explained here. Saraja putrova vridhe आशुशुल्क इवोडुपः आपूर्यमाणः पितृभिः काष्ठाभिरिव सोन्वहम्. The concluding shloka, it says that this child then grew under the careful protection of his ancestors, his grandfathers, which is Yudhishthira and the other four Pandavas. They were his grandfathers. So they brought him up. Pitrubhihi Kashtabhiriva, and he grew just like the moon. Okay, in the Shukla Paksha, what happens in the Shukla Paksha? The moon, which is now a no moon, slowly becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, bit by bit, over 15 days or 15 tithis, not 15 days necessarily, but 15 tithis, 15 steps it takes, and it becomes a full moon. So like this child also gradually grew in size and became bigger and bigger and became like the full moon one day. So Apuryamana, he became fuller and fuller and fuller and became a fully grown king. He became the leader of the population. So there's a lot of good qualities about Maharaj Parikshit, how he became the enabler and how he took on Kali, because he was born at a time when Kali Yuga had just started. So he took on Kali, the Kali Purusha. Okay, that will come a little later in the same Pratama Skandha of Bhagavatam. It's very inspiring, that story, and we will narrate it a few sessions later. But now, what do we see in this story? We see the connection from this story and the shlokas in the Bhagavad Gita that we were studying earlier. In the 9th chapter, Sri Bhagavan says, Avajananti mam mudaha. Avajananti mam mudaha. Manushim tanumashritam. Param bhavamajananto. Mama bhuta maheshwaram. The foolish people, avajananti, they insult me. Avagya karte hain. Meri avagya karte hain. Avajananti does not just mean they don't know me. One is they don't know me, but not only they do not know me, they don't acknowledge that they don't know me. Instead, they just make insulting comments about me. Because why do they do that? They see me as another human being because I have a human-like body. Manushim tanum ashritam. They do that. Param bhava majananta. They don't know my superior nature, my nature which is beyond this prakriti. Mama bhuta maheshwaram. I am the supreme Ishvara of all the living beings. They don't know that. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritimashritah bhajantyananya manasaha kyatva bhutadim avyayam. So in contrast to these foolish people, the Mahatmas, the people whom I call Mahatma, they have taken the refuge of Daivi Prakriti, my superior nature, okay, my Antaranga Shakti. So they have taken refuge of my Antaranga Shakti, my Daivi Prakriti. And what do? Bhajanti Ananya Manasaha. They do my Ananya Bhakti without a second, means only me. Their mind is only on me. Bhajanti Ananya Manasaha Gyatva Bhutadim Avyayam. Knowing that I am the origin of everything. Bhutadim Avyayam. And I don't have any ending also. I am the source of everything and I don't have any ending. I am Avyaya. I will never diminish. Right? Knowing this, the Mahatmas do my Ananya Bhakti. And how do they do it? Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dhridavrataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. This is the process of bhakti. Always doing my kirtan. Okay, always doing my kirtan doesn't mean that 24 hours we are singing. That also happens sometimes, but always in their mind thinking about me, right? Yatantascha dhridavrataha. They undertake very strong vows and they endeavor to uplift their consciousness towards me. Namasyantascha mam bhaktya. They offer their vandana, namaskar to me. Nitya yuktaha, always connected to me, and in that way they worship me. Ananyas chintayanto mam. So how do I reciprocate with them? To these people, ananyas chintayantah, those who are always thinking about me. Ananyas chintayanto mam. Yejanaf paryupasate. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam. Yogakshemam vahamyaham. So to such people who are always thinking about me and connected to me, I do what is called as Yogakshema Vahamyaham. Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. Their yoga and kshema. I personally carry it for them. So what is meant by Yogakshema? So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti, he expands this word Yogakshema as Alabdhalabho Yoga. Labdhasya Rakshanam Kshema. That which has not been obtained by us, Alabdhalabha. Sri Bhagavan provides that. In other words, that which we don't have, but which is necessary to perform his bhakti and continue to live, he provides that. And labdhasya rakshanam shema, and that which we already have, he protects that, he preserves that. That we don't have to again struggle to get it. Right? So yogakshema, protecting what we already have and providing us what we don't have. That Sri Bhagavan does for those who are his Ananya Bhaktas. So Ananya Bhaktas don't have to think, I have to first make a lot of money and then I will do all this. Okay, that's the Samanya thinking. If, for example, if some of you go and tell somewhere outside that, I'm interested in doing bhakti, I want to I want to do bhakti seriously, then some advice will come of this type. No, 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 no. First, you earn money. First, you become strong, powerful, and then you start doing bhakti. Okay, but bhakti is then seen as something that is a supplementary activity. It is not an important activity. The important activity is to first make a lot of money, become powerful, settle down. And then if you still have some time, okay, you can while it away by doing bhakti. Bhakti is a time-filling activity. So that's a complete misunderstanding of bhakti. Bhakti is not a time pass activity. It is not for those who have retired, or not only for those who have retired. It's actually for every jivatma, every living being. If they want to experience pure happiness, then it is through bhakti. Okay. And we see this example of Yogakshemam Vahamyam. The best example is today's story where Shri Bhagavan, he protects his bhaktas again and again. He guides them. The whole Mahabharata is like that. The Mahabharata is illustration of Yogakshemam Vahamyam, and today's story also. And finally, the Navama Adhyaya of Bhagavad-gita concludes with this. Manmana bhava mat bhakto matyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktvaivam atmanam mat parayanaha. Manmana bhava means one whose mind is always in me, always thinking about me. Mad bhakto bhava, become my bhakta. Madhyaji, worship me. Mam namaskuru, offer your namaskar to me. And if you do all this, mameva eshyasi, you will come only to me. You will certainly come to me. Mameva eshyasi, you will certainly come to me. Yuktva evam, being engaged in this manner. Atmana mat parayanaha, with yourself completely under my refuge, having taken my refuge. So the Bhagavad Gita essentially is a book of Bhakti Yoga. Its highest conclusion is that performing Bhakti to Bhagwan is the goal of life. It's the process. Bhakti can be described as both as a process as well as the goal. The process and the end and the means both are the same in the context of Bhakti. So the process of Bhakti helps us to develop what is called as Bhakti, the item known as Bhakti, which is the energy which we develop inside, with which existence becomes much, much better than what it is otherwise. More happiness, sustained happiness. That is the outcome of bhakti. So what can we do? Simple ways in which we can experience the sweetness of bhakti as we continue to live. We can do many different things. One is the mental adjustment. Bhakti requires broadly, very broadly, two things: things in the mind and things in the body, in the actions that we do. Mentally, what is the adjustment we need to make? The mental adjustment is to see oneself as not as some big guy, powerful guy, but even though we may know that we are actually big in society or we have some power in society, but still, in front of Bhagavan, we are small and insignificant. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhutas sanatana. That shloka, we should always remember that each of us is a small, insignificant part of Bhagavan, right? So this is a very practical thing to do, to remind ourselves every day in the morning when we get up. First thing to do is to remind that, okay, today I begin my day not as some great guy, but as an insignificant part of Bhagavan. I have duties to do, and let me begin my day like this. Make a resolution every day in the morning that I'll give up all the jealousy and anger I have in my heart, okay? And let's not deny this. Let's each of us accept that, yes, by virtue of our past karma, there is some sense of jealousy, some sense of, anger inside us, maybe more or less, that doesn't matter, but whatever it is, it should be removed completely. No place for jealousy and anger in the heart of a bhakta. And be willing to accept and live with the reality. Sometimes the reality may be unpleasant. Like, for example, somebody, I'm saying it in this context, when you see, when does jealousy and anger manifest in its most, vicious form? When we see somebody we don't like becoming successful, somebody who has insulted us in the past, somebody who has been unkind to us, that person we see getting something good in their life, then the anger or jealousy comes out in us and it disturbs us. Right? Sometimes we may even tell somebody else, Usko nahi hona chahiye tha, this is not correct. Right? We may go and tell somebody because we can't tolerate it. It becomes intolerable. But we should learn to be willing to accept. Just like Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira did not have any problem when he saw other people being happy, even the people who were trying to kill him. He allowed that. He was even willing to say that you give us, 5 villages. We will live in a village. We are not coming for the kingdom. We don't want richness. We are not looking for all that. We're just looking to do our duties as Kshatriyas. We are born as a Kshatriya, so we are supposed to do these duties as Kshatriya. So that we can do even if you give us a village to administer. As a head of a village, I can do my duty as a Kshatriya. So at least give us that much. And we will let you be happy. We will not fight with you. So this is Yudhishthira's thinking, and that's the thinking that we should learn to take. It's not that we should allow nonsense to happen. We're not saying that. Yudhishthira did not just say that let nonsense happen. But he said if it has to be that way, then I'm willing to accept it. If there is no other way out, I'm willing to accept that for the sake of peaceful coexistence. Okay, to develop that mentality, what are the physical actions we can do? Read and contemplate on the Bhagavatam daily. Even a small portion of that will do good. There are so many versions of Bhagavatam available. Many of them are good translations. Preferably read a translation in an Indian language like Hindi or your mother tongue, if that is more comfortable for you. The languages are much closer to the original message of the Bhagavatam than English. But if you cannot read any other language, then even an English translation is fine. Even that is communicating quite well. Okay, if you can, and I'm sure this is not a difficult thing for many of us, do japa of Sri Bhagavan's names. Japa is the most powerful process. Is considered the sreshta, the supreme yajna. Japa yajna is the supreme among the yajnas in the 10th chapter, which we will start shortly. Yajnanam japa yajñosmi, Sri Bhagavan says. So please consider doing japa of Sri Bhagavan's name. Start a process by which every day you can do a certain number of repetitions of Sri Bhagavan's name. And if possible, do it during Brahma Muhurta. Okay, for ideally, it should be after you get up. But I know that being students, many of you go to sleep during the Brahma Muhurta or after that. So then do it before you go to sleep during the Brahma Muhurta. Visit a temple where Sri Bhagavan is worshipped and make an offering to him there. I'm sure this is something that many of you already do. Accept and consume his prasadam. This is the best one. This is easy to do, and all of us like consuming prasadam, but do not overconsume. Avoid meat, avoid alcohol, other intoxicating substances. Today, you see, even those who are not bhaktas are saying why it's important to eat vegetarian food from a health perspective. They realize that meat eating actually is not the best food for human beings. There are scientific reasons given why meat is not the ideal food. I can share that with you another time in terms of scientific parameters, how meat is not suitable for the human body. And very important, stay away from gossip, stay away from politics and all other destructive activity. This actually, gossip destroys us. It destroys not only the people whom we are talking about, but it destroys us also. Seek Sri Bhagavan's guidance from within. See, very often life throws up very confusing situations every other day, right? For some people, it is all the time. But for many of us who are doing our job, maybe once in a few days, something happens by which we are stuck. We don't know how to come out of it. It's confusing. Somebody is troubling us, or there's an assignment. You could take a student's life. There's an assignment to be completed. You don't know where to get the data from. You don't know how to, do the analysis. Something or the other is troubling you, right? So seek his guidance. Begin with that. Talk to him inside. Sit alone in your room and ask him, please guide me. I want to do this properly. I want to do my assignment in the best way possible. I want my prof to be happy with my work. Please guide me. And guidance will come. Okay. You will find a friend who will tell you this. You will find somebody, or at least the prof will give you some inputs and say that, okay, do it this way. I'm happy with that. And that will give you the direction to go forward. Keep things as simple and straightforward as possible. This is extremely important in all forms of yoga. In fact, this is the common principle for every aspect of our Indian culture. Our Bharatiya Samskriti believed in simplicity as a common thread. Even very rich people lived simple lives. They had money, but they lived simple lives. They were not miserly because they believed simplicity was very important. And simplicity is a source of happiness. Be simple and straightforward. Avoid unnecessary things. And live in a manner, very important, is that what does not disturb others, but is harmonious and pleasing to others. When I say pleasing to, I don't mean that we have to go out of our way to, flatter people or to make them feel good, but live in a way that doesn't trouble people. And when we have to interact with people, be aloof, but when we have to interact with them, then interact with them in a manner that doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't trouble anybody. It doesn't insult anyone. People feel happy. So these are the thoughts from today's class. I'll be very happy to hear your comments, have your questions also. Those who are online too, feel free to ask anything.
I had question pending up from the last session.
Okay. Carry forward.
Subhashish here, can I ask? Oh, somebody else is asking. I'll speak later.
Okay, shall we first take the online question since generally we ourselves keep talking. So Subhashish, was it Subhashish who was
Yes, sir.
speaking
Yes,
something
sir.
now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir,
Okay.
you mentioned about the japa. So is it something, because I had seen my grandmother writing the names in an exercise book every time, number of times. Is that
Yeah.
equivalent to that, or it has to be spoken in mind?
The most native form of japa is when in the mind we recite the mantra given to us by our guru. That is the most native form of
Okay.
japa. But yes, a supplementary
Okay.
form of japa is also writing down. Writing down in a
Okay.
book, which is a very common practice in India, in the south as well as in the north, I've seen it. My mother also does it every day. So,
Okay.
yes, it's a good practice. So, if you want, you can do that too.
Okay. Okay,
So,
sir. Thank
write
you,
the
sir.
mantra again and again and again. And there is one temple, interestingly, here in Jamshedpur. It's not very far from here, just about 2 kilometers in Kadma, where they have created a room where you can go and give the book. They showed me that room where, lots and lots of notebooks written by people filled with the mantra that they were doing japa of, that they keep there.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Got
So
it,
that's
sir.
also
Thank
a
you.
very good activity. That's also a very good activity.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Got it, sir. Got it.
Yeah.
Sir, even my question was on japa.
Your question was similar. Yeah, Sarthak.
So, sir, it is said that God, Naam hi Sakshat Bhagwan.
Hmm.
Can you please elaborate on it? Why is it so?
Yeah. So Shri Bhagavan appears in or manifests himself to us in different ways. So his manifestation is not always in his original form in which he performs his leelas, but many different forms. So one of the forms in which he manifests himself is his own name. His name and he are not different from each other. They are identical with each other.
So, sir, if we say that the name is identical with God, so that means if I'm talking about, say, Krishna, so Krishna is Sagun Sakar. So with him come all the potencies, that is all powerful and attributes like that. So that means the name is
Also like that, yes.
Now I know that I'm witnessing this samsara because there is some impurity in my mind. It is not calm. For like in the Yoga Sutras, it is mentioned that when your mind is calm, chitta vritti nirodha.
Chitta vritti, yogas chitta vritti nirodha. That's one of the sutras, the first sutra in Patanjali Sutra. Yeah.
So, sir, there, if I take even the name of God once, so if name is God Himself, then it should have the power to cleanse my mind,
Yes.
and I should achieve realization immediately. But that does not happen.
Yes.
So, how to reconcile this?
Yeah. So, did you hear Sarthak's question? His question was that the Bhagavan's name is Sarva Shaktimaya. Okay, in fact, Mahaprabhu says in the Shikshashtakam, the second shloka of Shikshashtakam, Namna Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita. All the Shaktis of Bhagavan are present in his Nam. So even if I say Krishna once, all the Shakti of Shri Bhagavan is present in that uttering of Krishna. Okay, so every time I say Krishna, Shri Bhagavan is manifesting himself on my tongue. And through my ears, I can receive him. Okay, then why doesn't it produce the effect of cleansing me completely, by which I can experience that ultimate happiness instantly? It doesn't happen only because I am not willing to give up. I haven't, the anarthas in me are so deep in my subconscious mind. They have been accumulated over countless number of lifetimes. Because the anarthas have been accumulated over countless number of lifetimes, the agyan, the ignorance is so deep in me that I am unable to give it up. Even though now I have started the process of bhakti and I have an intention to progress in bhakti, even though I may be very sincere, I'm unable to detach myself. I am holding on to those anarthas, those attachments.
But sir, Shri Bhagavan is described as if a metaphor is thousand suns shining together.
Yes.
Now, however dark the darkness may be, even if I switch on one simple light, the darkness would move away.
Hmm.
But if the name has all the potencies of God, which is like thousand suns shining together.
So between the light and
However,
between the light and the object, there is a covering, which is preventing the light from actually falling on the object fully. So the person inside who has to show sufficient intent to remove that covering. Then Shri Bhagavan will reciprocate with that person. Bhagavan will not force himself on anybody.
Shouldn't the intent also come with only one repetition of
It
the
should, yeah. So that is where free will, Ichcha. The Jivatma has its free will. So what happens is, even when the Jivatma is chanting Shri Bhagavan's name, the intent may be only partial to experience bhakti. The intent is mixed with the other intents that the Jivatma has accumulated over lifetimes. The intent to enjoy, the intent to, harm somebody else, right? Ichcha and Dvesha, these two things, these two anarthas. The mula for all the anarthas is Ichcha and Dvesha. Enjoyment for oneself and harm for others. Right? So because of that, listen to me fully. Don't ask question like that. Please listen fully. Because of that, the Jivatma is unable to give up that anartha to which it is so attached over countless lifetimes. So even when the Jivatma begins the journey, says that, okay, now I have come across something called as bhakti and I want to explore it. I want to try it out. I see some substance in it. So even though the Jivatma begins like that, it is not able to overnight give up the anarthas that it has. So because of that, the intentions are actually not, the intention of the Jivatma is not pure, 100% pure. It is mixed. It has some element of personal enjoyment. So even in a bhakta who is beginning the journey, we see that both are present.
So you said that it is we do not have that intent because we have some ichcha and dvesha.
Yeah.
And now these ichcha and dvesha are accumulated because of previous lifetimes across infinite lives that we had. We have accumulated, and this manifests as our ichcha and dvesha. So now, do I have that means do I have any free will in the first place? Because all of this is simply manifesting as the previous karmas are now manifesting as effects as of ichcha and dvesha.
Yeah, so they have actually shaped our ichcha and dvesha. Ichcha and dvesha by itself is a manifestation of our free will. It represents our free will. The free will is expressed through our ichcha and dvesha. Yeah, Swapnil.
Yeah, just to answer this question, see, the free will is, I will tell you in my example that I should not have non-veg. But because I was born and brought up, and maybe because of my earlier lifetimes, I'm so much involved that if somebody is having non-veg, I will start salivating. But what I believe that we are discussing here is doing japa every day, waking it up and doing this austerity will one day, maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years, it will happen. So nothing will happen immediately. You use the word immediately, or maybe once one word with Krishna, it will not happen because in order to reach God, we have to go through this austerity. I think that could be one way.
Sir, is it somehow?
So I want you to, so the Sarthak, the best way to answer this for you or for each of us is to introspect within ourselves and ask the question that, I'm doing japa, but I'm not experiencing that taste fully. I'm experiencing a slight taste, which makes me want to do more of it, but I'm not experiencing the happiness that the Shastra describes. I'm not experiencing that infinite happiness. I'm not experiencing Krishna in his full glory, in his full grandeur. So why is it? So introspect. Ask, okay, what desires do I have? Look into your own desires. Hold the mirror to yourself. By doing that, you will know what you're holding on to. Are you willing to give it up? Whatever that is. So this is how we introspect. And then in response to that, we say that, okay, now I'll give that up. I'll give it up. And then we turn to Krishna and say, please take it away from me. Please take that thing away from me, which is preventing me from really experiencing your name. Okay, this yatna, this is called yatna, yatantaha, yatna. This is the yatna that we have to perform. This is a part of yoga.
Sir, yatna is an action. And now
in the mind, action in the mind.
Action in the mind. So we do not have any control over the action, but do we have control over the intent?
Yes,
wishing to do it.
we have. We have free will. Free will is very much a part of bhakti, and free will is very much a part of the Jivatma. So it's through our free will that we have to exercise our free will very consciously by sufficient introspection in this direction. So this mental adjustment that we do has to happen on a continuous basis. When I say continuous, I mean on a daily basis. Every day when you do japa, introspect. Before you do japa, sometimes while you do japa, disturbing thoughts come. Stop and ask yourself, why are these disturbing thoughts coming to me? I don't want them. I don't want those thoughts. I only want to do japa purely. Like this. So this kind of introspection, by doing it again and again and again, one can slowly experience more and more of that light. And the Shraddha will also improve with that conviction. So right now, our Shraddha itself is weak. We have doubt, samshaya. The indication of the Shraddha being weak is the presence of samshaya. We are not 100% convinced that everything that is said here is really true. Theoretically, it looks all right. But inside us, it's not yet internalized enough to cause us to, be excited about it. We're not sufficiently excited about it. Like we are about money or something more tangible. Rapti has been wanting to ask something.
I was just wanting to make the same point that Swapnili made, that we will also need to give some efforts. It is not just because all the things that we acquire, negative or positive, it has taken some time to acquire, and we cannot just flip it by one minute or one something. It will again take some journey to turn back and have that control.
There is inertia.
That is inertia, yes, that has to be developed. That doesn't come. God will not force that inertia on us. God or Shri Bhagavan, they will.
It's our own inertia,
no,
which is
they-
dragging us. Yes.
Take some way. Okay, you started taking my name. Maybe some situation will occur that most such situations are happening that I'm being part of such activities and I'm taking more of his name. But to make a good use of it, I need to break that inertia.
Yeah.
Like same as when we are fasting, right? I need to break the inertia of having to control the desire of having some food. I mean, that has to come from myself.
Yes.
Sir, can I add to it?
Yeah, sure. What is your name?
Sir, Saket.
Saket. Yes, I remember.
Sir, like I would like to, I understood it a bit differently, like from the story of Gautam Buddha. Like when he was a prince. So his father never let him to understand what pain is. So one day it happened that he saw pain. What pain is? He saw something which was very dreadful or something like that. Then he moved to a journey to understand what is life about, what is pain about. And slowly, he was like giving up all the desires which he had. And the final fight was between him and desire. But he had to give up everything. He had to give up food. He had to give up everything to reach to that level. So that cleansing, as you said, it will be coming step by step. You have to give up yourself, like the dark part in yourself, replace it with a good part.
Yes.
And when this cumulatively it happens, then I think.
Yes. Absolutely. But in the path of bhakti, because as you give up these things, you also bring Bhagavan into your life more and more.
Yes.
And you bring Bhagavan with the knowledge that he is pure. He becomes your role model. So there's always that desire that I want to become like him. I want to become pure like him. So therefore, you don't feel that you're losing anything. You only feel that some dirt is going out and some good thing is coming in the place of that dirt.
Yes.
So it's a happy process. Yeah.
Just sharing the way I try to do it when I'm doing japa or some sort of meditation, I tend to feel that okay, something good or some positive energy is coming from the front or from my head, and maybe some of the negative energy is going out from my back, and that feeling lasts for a while. I mean, even after I do finish my japa or meditation, that feeling lasts for a few hours, maybe, and that is also dependent on the strength of the thought. The day I'm very strong on the thought, it lasts for maybe the full day. Sometimes it will last for a few hours, but that does help me thinking that okay, some bad, like all the bad energy or the bad thoughts are moving away from the backside, and I'm able to feel some good light or good energy from the front. That is my way of thinking when I'm doing japa or meditation.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Sir,
So
while
did those who are online could hear what she was saying? Yeah, good. Yeah. So this mic is able to catch. That's good. Yeah.
So while I agree to everything that we have discussed, and that is also very much empirically observable, that repetition actually helps, and how much you actually put in effort, that helps. My only question again, I have come back to square one. So when we are saying that Naam has all the powers of Sri Bhagwan, so even when I am say chanting even once, so shouldn't that Shraddha also come in me? We had also talked about a shloka wherein Sri Bhagwan says that immediately they come to me. You said that the verb here is very much, the tense here is very much to be noticed, that you will come to me is not used. You immediately come to me. That is just almost in the present moment.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can understand that to mean that as soon as we chant his name, we are connected to him. We become connected to him, though we may not realize it. We may not have the realization of it. Okay, we will discuss more. You contemplate on what we have already discussed, and then you will understand it better. Puneet, please let me know your question.
Yes, sir. In this context only, there's one school of thought who goes for kirtan and dancing for bhakti. Is it similar to Namjap or is it is something different?
Doing kirtan is also a form of japa, but it's a different form in the sense you sit with a group of people, other people, like-minded people, without disturbing anybody else who doesn't want to be a part of it. If somebody doesn't want to be a part of it, we do not force them. But with like-minded people, you sing different names of Bhagwan. Sometimes it's only those names that you sing. Sometimes you sing a bhajan, which carries, meanings pertaining to his qualities, Bhagwan's qualities or his activities, and so on. So these are all different ways of connecting with him. But it cannot replace japa. Japa is japa. Japa in its most native form is sitting in meditation. You sit alone. Nobody else should be present at that time. You are sitting alone, and you try to divert your mind. You try to fix your mind on the name. Repeated recitation of the name, again and again, chanting the name. If required, audibly, so that you can hear it, or inaudibly, so that in the mind you can hear it, internally you can hear it, and you try to shut off everything else. That native form of japa cannot be substituted for by any other form. Kirtan is a good thing, but it cannot substitute this. You can think of it as another activity, which is aligned to this.
Thank you.
Japa by itself is enough. If somebody does only japa, means what I mean by only japa is not that they don't do any other activity, but I mean among the activities of bhakti, if they do just japa, that sadhana of japa alone, for a certain amount of time every day, and are not able to do anything else like kirtan or doing puja of the deity or doing, offering bhog to the deity and going to the temple. If they are not able to do anything else, but they are able to do only japa, that itself is enough. That will carry them forward in the path of bhakti and give them that perfection. Japa is all complete in itself.
There are some questions in the chat box. Can you please
Okay.
read?
Yeah, sure. I will see them. Bhagavad doesn't contain the things we discuss. The correct version of Bhagavatam. There are many versions of Bhagavatam available online. You check on Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam written by Maharishi Vyasa. You'll find many versions. I can send you a link to some versions later.
Sure.
What is the significance of 108 as a count for japa? Well, the idea is not about 108 itself. 108 by itself is not a kind of a determining number, but the idea is that, when we discipline our mind, we need to keep count of something, a commitment. A commitment gets firmed up when we use counting. That is why counting is done. 108 in particular is used numerologically. It has a lot of significance in our Sanskriti. In our Sanskriti itself, 108 has got a lot of significance. It is used in not only for the counting japa, but in so many other places also. We use the word 108. And so I don't know beyond that. That's all that I know. I know it's just an auspicious number. But if you count in terms of some other number also, the japa will be as effective. You don't have to worry about the 108 by itself much. Is it the relation between the distance of the sun from the earth, diameter of the sun? I have no idea at all. I don't know if that relationship is there.
Sir,
Hmm.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Regarding the birth of the baby Parikshit,
Yeah.
he said that Sri Bhagavan at that point of time had two options. He could save him or he could revive him. Right? He saved through reviving. So is there any rationale behind it? Like, why didn't he save in the first place? You said that he let the baby burn first, the baby died, and then he revived him. So is there any logic behind it? Like, why didn't he save him in the first place if he's all powerful? Or is it like the Brahmastra has come and sort of offends Brahma or something like that? If there is any reason behind it.
No, I don't know. I don't know if there is any reason why he first, the baby dies and then he brings him back to life. I think what I understand by death is that the body is burnt. His body is burnt. Essentially, the body burning is what we call as death. The Jivatma anyway cannot be killed, wherever it is. No astra, the Brahmastra also cannot kill the Jivatma. The Jivatma is always Nitya, right? Achedyoyam, Adahyoyam. So it is beyond astras. So the Jivatma in the womb of Uttara remains there itself, but his body gets burned by the astra because the astra is so powerful. So your question effectively is why does he allow the body to get burnt? And then he restores the body back. That is not explained in the Bhagavatam, so I would not like to speculate on that. He just narrated that it happened that way. Yeah. I think in the Mahabharata also it's given that way. So in that way, the two Shastra, both written by Sri Vedavyas only, they concur on that. Although there are some minor differences in the other details of the story, which are not important to us. So thank you all. So today's class we will close with this. Let me do the Antya Mangalam. ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ तद्विष्णोः परमं पदगुं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवीव चक्षुराततम् तद्विप्रासो विपन्यवो जागृवागुंसः समिन्धते विष्णोर्यत्परमं पदं पर्याप्त्या अनन्तरायाय सर्वस्तमोतिरात्र उत्तममहद्भवति सर्वस्याप्त्यै सर्वस्य जित्यै सर्वमेव तेनाप्नोति सर्वं जयति ॐ शान्तिः हरि ओम तत्सत् धन्यवादाः पुनर्मिलामः